Hey everybody, it's Chris. So first things first, I'm excited to let you know I have a new short story out today. The story is called Nainaine of the Bayou. The magazine is called Black Treacle, and you can read for free at blacktreacle.ca. That's right, it's .ca, not .com, because they're Canadian, and as everyone knows, Canadian is the opposite of commercial. Black Treacle is a magazine of horror and dark fantasy, which is about where Nainaine of the Bayou fits. The story follows a little girl named Nell traveling through a post-apocalyptic New Orleans, searching for the witch who can help to bring her undead grandmother back to life. If that sounds like the kind of thing you're into, well, you're watching the right YouTube channel, and you should go check out blacktreacle.ca. So I'm here in Central Park today because I wanted to change the scenery a little bit, get outside. I really wanted to shoot this at the New York Public Library because it's like an icon of literature and everything, and it's haunted by a spectral librarian who freaks out if you make too much noise. But it turns out that is just about the most crowded place on planet Earth. Like, if you've never been to New York before, it's hard to explain just how crowded it is here. I mean, it's almost impossible to go outside and find a place that you can be alone. I would say at this moment I'm surrounded on pretty much all sides by people, and it's a little weird to be the guy who's sitting here talking to his camera. I'm getting funny looks. But what am I saying? I'm not talking to my camera, I'm talking to all of you. So I scattered around for a while trying to work up the nerve to shoot a video among that huge crowd of people, and I finally found a position I was really happy with where I could get the library and frame behind me while I talked. And I was just working up the nerve to start talking, and these two tourists come and they like sit down at my table right with me, like in my shot. And they didn't even acknowledge I was there. Like, they could see me with the microphone and the camera, and they just sat there talking to each other. So I waited a few minutes to see if they'd notice and move on, but they didn't, so I did. I figured I'd walk up Fifth Avenue a ways and find a nice quiet place in Central Park, which on a day as nice as today doesn't exactly exist. And I want to say something else, because I walked up Fifth Avenue, there was a line like 45 people long to get into Hollister of all places. Seriously, Hollister. I mean, Abercrombie & Fitch had no line at all, and they have a shirtless hot guy standing in the entryway. This is the thing I don't get about tourists in New York. I mean, it's the same exact Hollister you can go to in your mall at home with all the same clothes, but you're gonna come stand in line for 40 minutes just to say you did it in New York. So I had some New York Public Library trivia all ready to go, and since I'm in Central Park, it seems a little odd, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. Right behind the library is Bryant Park, which is a big city park with a huge lawn and a bunch of seating and a restaurant. Tonight they're doing a movie screening outdoors on the lawn. But a lot of people don't know when you're in Bryant Park, you're not actually behind the library, you're on top of the library. See, the original building was too small to house all the archives in the library, so they had to dig underground and expand it out underneath the park. So most of the New York Public Library is actually underground, buried beneath Bryant Park. But it raises an interesting question about the place of libraries in the 21st century, doesn't it? I mean, at one point libraries had to be that big. If people were going to have access to those books and periodicals and movies, there had to be a building they could go to see them all. But nowadays I can hold an entire library's worth of books on my Kindle, and most of us can access any book, movie, TV show, or newspaper from any point in history from a device we all carry in our pockets. Now, as a writer and a lover of books, I have a deep love of libraries, and I spent a lot of time there growing up. But when you consider the cost of maintaining the New York Public Library and the value of the real estate it's on, you have to wonder how long before they realize they just don't need that building anymore. Then again, maybe it's worth keeping alive as sort of a museum of literature. I think I'd donate to that. So I think that's it for today. I've had about all the weird looks I could take here in Central Park. But don't forget to check out my new short story, Nainaine of the Bayou, at blacktreacle.ca. And while I'm at it, it's worth saying you should support magazines like this, because there aren't a lot of short story markets out there, and they're a great place for young writers to get started. So thanks for watching, thanks for thinking, and bring your kids to the local library while it's still around.